Yeah, okay, time to live free. Plenty goals I'm achieving. Some real life topics and talking financial freedom. Mindset, soul and love, everything in between. This is Freedom Podcast. Tune in, live free. Hey, got my mindset right and I got the drive. Planning one day, no more job, no more 9 to 5. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. This is freedom. Tune in, cause it's going down. Woo!
Hi, this is Anna, and welcome to another episode of Your Freedom Podcast. In this episode, I interview Anita Swetman. Anita was a shy, introverted, ordinary girl stuck in a corporate pharmacy career until she became a national multi-gold award-winning beauty therapist. She's CEO of her own beauty business and massage therapist to lots and lots of celebrities. It wasn't easy, and Anita went through many bereavements and tragedies to get to where she is today. And she is the author of No Ordinary Girl, a true story which was published in February 2022 to inspire women who lack self-belief and introverted people on how to improve their mindset and confidence. I am so excited about interviewing Anita, and you are gonna love this interview. So great, Anita. It's great to have you on the show.
Hi, Anna. Thanks so much for having me here.
I know we've had a few challenges getting you here, so I feel like I know you already, which is great.
I know, we certainly have, but today we're here, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And so just to give you a bit of backstory, because the reason I put this podcast together is I went through a really difficult time in 2015, left a really abusive marriage. But my expertise is kind of e-commerce, Amazon, Etsy, physical products, digital products, sort of online business. But my sort of real expertise is e-commerce. But this podcast is all around sharing stories, because I think when I was in my lowest part, say, it was hearing other people's stories or challenges that kind of like inspired me to keep on going, really. And that was why, because I feel like everyone's got a story to tell, whether it be from a business perspective or whether they've got something personal to share. And I always think, because these days we meet people, don't we? We identify people by what they do.
Absolutely, yes.
And we always know that, there's good and bad police officers, there's good and bad doctors, but we kind of, in society, we kind of represent each other from what we do. Whereas I actually think if you met someone for the first time and said, what's your story? You get to know them on a real deeper level. So that's the kind of idea of this podcast. And I've met some awesome people globally. It's always great to interview fellow Brits because it feels like we're neighbours compared to some of the distances that I interview.
Plus the time zones as well.
Absolutely. And I know you are, you're an author, an award-winning CEO, a beauty therapist. And what was it you were saying before? What was your phrase? Ordinary girl.
Yeah. No ordinary girl. I was no ordinary beauty therapist, but now everyone has known me now as No Ordinary Girl, which is the title of my first book.
Yeah, love it. I love it. And so I'm really curious, because I know you've had some celebrity acquaintances along the way, and I've interviewed a couple on this podcast, and it's always great to hear about sort of celebrity meetups. But how did you get to this point where you are this award-winning author now? How did it sort of all start?
Well, it was a very, very long road to get me to where I am today, and I have no hang-ups about talking about how old I am on any podcasts or radio shows, because we should be proud of our age and embrace it. So I'm now 49, and my road first started back in, I suppose, 1991 when I was 18, when I lost my dad. I think that's when I had to learn how to start fending for myself. And then in 1996, I was introduced to a business opportunity by my late elder brother. And he introduced me to the concept of positive thinking and changing of your mindset. And I was like, whoa, what is this? It was a totally alien concept to me. I hadn't a clue. I was just stuck in my little comfort zone. I was shy. I was introverted. I used to hide behind my dad right up until I was 18 years of age. So you can imagine how I was, and being on this podcast with you and what I've achieved in my life. A lot of people, unless they knew my background and my story, they would not believe me. But we all have a past. We all have, like you say, things that have made us to get to where we are today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it. I think even though at the time when you go through sort of challenging times, it's when you look back, like some of my closest friends, I say, I'm really grateful for, I mean, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I was really pleased that I was strangled,
Yeah.
but I'm really grateful for the journey that I went on, because I think I'm really grateful for different things now, and I'm a different person than I was. And I'm just, I don't know, I'm just grateful for the whole journey that I've been on, because as you say, it makes you who you are. And this, you know, this thing called life is a whole journey, and it's also geared me up to, you know, like silly things like if you're selling a house or your car breaks down, you know, normal stresses just don't get to me now. Whereas the old me, I used to get really stressed out over ridiculous things. Probably an age thing as well. As you get older, you've had all these experiences, you don't really care. But
we become wiser, don't we? You know,
yeah.
we do become wiser. But you can either choose to stay stuck in your comfort zone and not move forward, or you can, you know, it's your choice at the end of the day. You
Exactly.
are what you think you are.
Absolutely.
Your mindset is just so powerful. What you tell yourself every single day, your thoughts become your reality.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit about, so I presume you were a beauty therapist were you in like in a salon at some point on your journey?
Yeah, well, I first started out working in corporate pharmacy when I was 18.
Okay.
And then when I was 23, I was introduced to the concept of positive thinking and changing my mindset. And that little part obviously started me on the road to getting a better pharmacy career. Basically, because at that time it was about £1 more an hour and doing the same job that I was doing. So I went into that career. And then it was a couple of years later that I met my soulmate, the love of my life. So if I hadn't have changed direction, our paths would never have crossed. So it is the decisions that you make in your life, you just don't realize that lead you to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I continued in that role, obviously, for the next 23 years of my life, until in 2003 when I got married. It was about a month before I got married, and I had my first wake-up call where the stress of my job really got to me, and I fainted and I hit my head on the floor with a nasty big black eye before my wedding. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And a lot of people think, you're nuts. Why is that the best thing that ever happened to you? Because it made me realise that if I carried on being stuck in my comfort zone, because I wanted my life to change, but I just didn't know how to change it. If I hadn't have had that happen, I would still be stuck in my corporate career today.
Yeah.
And 10 years on, I've now obviously it was a long road. Obviously, there's a lot that goes on in between.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have now obviously set up a successful business from my own professional home salon, treating my clients. It's not the same as before lockdown. Before lockdown, I was at almost sort of 95% capacity. So now I'm at only 80%, but it's a big achievement considering so many salons have had to close their doors, and my heart really goes out to all those people that have been severely affected by COVID and had to close for good. So I'm very, very proud that I have maintained
yeah, absolutely. Because I know a lot of people. I was working with a lady actually based in California who, she was a hairdresser, and she actually was employed by the salon, so it wasn't her business. But I helped her create, basically she was selling hair accessories. And that kind of helped her with income throughout the lockdown, you know. So I think a lot of people have had massive career changes, haven't they?
Absolutely.
So like you say, for you to be at 80% capacity and to have not closed is a huge achievement. So big well done on that.
Because I was closed for 9 months without any income, nothing, because I'd started up my business part-time in 2012. And then I went full-time in 2018 when I was literally working day and night and weekends. So I was working 3 days a week in my pharmacy career when I reduced my hours to set up my business. And then I was working in the evenings, working on clients, and then at the weekends. And I was just running myself ragged. I was wearing myself out, and I thought, hang on a minute, things need to change. So I'd had more wake-up calls, which is what I talk about in my story. So I founded my business. And then it was really hard getting it going, because when you work from home, no one knows you're there.
Yeah.
So my story, obviously, in my book talks about what I did to set up my business, how I got myself out there, and also how I managed to sustain a regular clientele, a loyal regular clientele, charge my worth so that they would keep coming back to me regularly, time and time and time again. Some people come 2 weeks, some people 3, 4, once or twice a year. Some people I might not have seen for 3 years, and I just welcome back with open arms, like I just saw today. And that's how I work. But it was really
You've built up really good relationships with people for them,
yes,
you know, to have that contact, and that's evident with the post-COVID, I think, because people are obviously like waiting for you to reopen, and with the relationships that you'd already formed with people.
Oh, I know, my phone was going ping, 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 you know, thank goodness you can open again. But it was, I had to try and maintain my business in lockdown because obviously I had no income whatsoever. I had a little bit of savings, but I was investing everything into my business to make it a success. So even though I was in really, really good profit, a lot of it I was investing back in, you know, continual CPD, continual professional development, trying to make it a success. And in lockdown, I was turned it around after I went through a bereavement process of losing my business. So I went into online selling and skin consultations.
Okay.
So that kept my business afloat. So I wasn't bringing in the same kind of money, but I was still bringing in a really good amount of money to keep my head above water.
Yeah. I think it's just really good to listen to that, because there's probably a lot of people that are listening who, you know, can gain a lot from that, from hearing the sort of challenges that you went through with COVID, because I think it has been a super difficult time, hasn't it? And people have had to kind of change the way they work, or at least introduce things, because I know there's been a couple of ladies that have reached out to me that have had like traditional retail shops. And even though they're back up and running now, it's made them think about the future, that they want like an additional online retail income, so that they've got that thing to fall back on. And I think it's woken people up like that, hasn't it? Where
yes,
you
so
kind of diversify a bit.
Yeah, I always did retail, but I always did retail, but I really heavily focused on it in lockdown, and now continue to do it. So it's my average transaction value. A month.
So I know you've met a lot of celebrities on your journey of success. Before we click record, I was like, can you tell us about the celebrities? And I know you've got to be careful with some of the work you've done, but you've met a lot. I know you can talk about the people you've met a lot on your journey. So can we hear about who they are?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I want to tell you how I actually got into celebrity work. It was because the lava shell massage, which is the world's first self-heating massage tool, they introduced a new treatment called the lava shell thermofacial, which is
heard of that,
heavenly. Yeah. It's really heavenly. And one of my clients came and experienced it, and she said to me, do you know, I've been telling all my friends that Anita does this treatment because they saw it live on This Morning TV. So she was going around telling everybody that Anita did this treatment. And then I thought to myself, celebrity work, could I do that? I had a massive explosion in my head of a light bulb, thinking, celebrity work, that would elevate my status. And then I thought, nah, not me. I'm just
as we do,
ordinary therapist working from home. But I thought, what the hell? What have I got to lose? So I applied for the position because the managing director of the Lava Shells was looking for lava angels to massage celebrities at events, might be at their home, them to come to your salon, your home business, whatever, mobile. They were looking for people, and hardly anybody was going forward. And they said, obviously, you wouldn't get paid for it, but it was a way that you could promote yourself and get yourself out there. So of course, people don't like to do things unless they're getting paid for it, do they?
It's like it looks short term, don't they? A lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of people think, well, what am I going to get from this? But I was the other side. I thought, what will this do for my business if I start doing this work? And I went through a lot of, nah, can't do this. Why would they want me? Nah. And I even didn't want to even put the application in the post. it was a spiral of procrastination, not feeling good enough, until I started looking at myself in the mirror and saying, yes, you are good enough. Yes, you can do this. What makes you different to anybody else? Nothing. So I just went for it, took a deep breath and jumped in.
Brilliant.
As I always think, as Fraser Brooks quotes, the more you think, the more you doubt, the less you do. So you just have to do it.
You just have to jump in and say, yes, I'm going to do it.
So I went up to the NEC in Birmingham. For people obviously who might be watching us from around the world, it's a great big venue where they hold concerts, but they also have exhibitions, things like that, car shows, whatever. But this was obviously the beauty show, and I was working there with the company to see if I was capable of being a celebrity therapist. And I nearly didn't go. I very nearly didn't go. But I fought through my negative voice, and I started saying positive affirmations, and I went. And I worked with the company all day. I just thought, no, I'm just going to be myself. Don't put on these special acts, and just do your best. And at the end of the day, the managing director said, I've been observing you all day. She said, I love your personality. I would like to invite you to the lava party. So I was now officially a lava angel. I just shrieked. I just went, yes, thank you. I was literally gobsmacked in total shock that I had now officially become a lava angel. So my first job actually was at the Whiskey Mist in Mayfair, which is a very swish nightclub, which has got no windows. It's got a very small door. It's a very exclusive venue, which I did in May 2014. So this was 2 years after I set up my business, and it was being hosted by OK Magazine. Brilliant. And there was a whole host of well-known journalists from various different magazines, newspapers. You know, we had Top Sante, Woman's Own, Hello, you know, Sunday Express, Daily Express, you name it. It was just talked about event, because the managing director wanted to make it big because she was getting herself out there. So I was massaging celebrities, where someone was there. Obviously, I can't talk about who I massaged, but I can tell you about some of the people I met that day. So we had Josie Gibson. Obviously, she was in Big Brother. We had Lizzie Cundy. She was a footballer. She does TV presentations. Dexter Coe, he was on Big Brother. There was a few others as well there. Sean Welby. There was quite a few. It was a big event. And all I remember was all the paparazzi, all the cameras all around me. And because I was so scared, I chose to just zone out. So some of the photos, you sort of look at me, I'm like that. And so they did get a really good one of me, obviously smiling, obviously with Hayley Sparks, who's a TV presenter as well on This Morning TV, which was quite nice. So yeah, that was my first ever celebrity event. And then that was it. I was on my way, and I started getting event after event after event coming my way. As my confidence improved, I would be smiling at the camera. So I would be packed a lot more. And then more offers would come my way because I was falling in love with the camera, I guess, really. So I worked at a fusion festival, which used to be held in Cofton Park in Birmingham, but now they've moved it to the party capital of Liverpool. We were working backstage in the Beauty Lounge, and that was where I met some amazing people. Who did I meet? I met Pitbull, Dizzy Rascal. Oh, who else did I meet? Oh, there was loads there that day.
I think sometimes I've had a few interviews on this podcast with sort of celebrities, and I think once you have like a couple, you can then use the fact, you can kind of leverage that fact by saying, oh, I've interviewed this person. Do you know what I mean? And then other people may be interested because you've already interviewed some kind of celebrities. So I can imagine with that, with the lava stuff, it's like, it's kind of quite, like you say, it was probably quite a popular thing that all the celebrities wanted to do. And then there wasn't probably many people. How many of the angels were there?
Well, initially there was only about 4 of us, and then sort of spread to, I think, about 15, and then a lot dropped off because they didn't use it to promote their businesses and get themselves out there. So they thought, oh, I'm not getting anything out of this. But I still kept on and on and on. And I was in newspapers and magazines, obviously promoting all my celebrity work. And then I started going on to more A-list celebs I would meet. I met Clean Bandit, Rudimental.
Brilliant.
Yeah, where Ellie Goulding. Oh my goodness, Sasha Brooks. She's a DJ at Capital FM. Yeah, the list goes on. Blue.
Yeah, fab.
Loves Blue. So yeah,
well done though for like
list is
using it,
endless.
like you say, as to like elevate you within your business, because it's like, I think a lot of people forget to do that within PR, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and all the people, obviously clients, new clients were messaging me, because every time I put out a social media post or I was in the paper, they would be ringing me up wanting to try out this new massage. What is this amazing massage that you're meeting with all these celebrities? And that's how I was elevating my status in my business. And that led me on to getting a national multi-gold award winning beauty therapist of the year with the British Hair and Beauty Awards. That was in 2018, and then I won the gold title again in 2019. I won Small Business Year in 2020. So for me, a little home salon.
Yeah, well done. Go girl.
You can do it. Yeah, it doesn't matter how big you are. But from that celebrity work, I started working at Ragdale Hall Spa in Melbourne.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Which is a world-renowned spa. I was working for a skincare company there because of my celebrity work, which was a real honor, and it gave me lots of experience and how I could implement things into my own business as well. Plus I love sort of working with a team, because when you work on your own, even though I've got my clients, it can be a very lonely place. So it's good to
so being there,
field as well.
Yeah, I tell you what I loved about Ragdale Hall was all the little different sort of steam room bits. It's really unique. There was all different ones. Yeah, it's years ago I went there now. Oh, you're making me want to go back.
Oh, well, I'm 50 next year, so I'm planning on spending a few days up there for my 50th. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
But wow, what a journey you've been on, and it just shows, because I've got it's a quote that's out there, but I kind of live by it now. That, you know, like fear stands for forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And you've definitely faced everything and rose, as in, you know, just push yourself out there. Like you say, don't overthink it, just do it. And then also using that to pivot even higher, really, within your business. So like, huge congratulations for everything that you've done. It sounds absolutely awesome. And you know, for people that could be listening to this, that maybe at the beginning of their journey, they might be, you know, it might be a newly qualified beauty therapist. Is there any advice that you want to give any of the listeners that are kind of inspired by what you shared so far?
Yes, my advice would be to never give up, learn your craft, and just keep on learning. Never stop learning. Obviously, gain your professional MVQs. There are loads and loads and loads of short courses out there for beauty therapists and massage therapists. Always make sure you gain a recognised qualification. So you're spending at least a year at college, like I did, obviously with your level 2 diploma. And then use the short courses for continual professional development, so that you stay at the top of your game. You're always you've always got new things to be selling to your clients. And well, it's not about selling, it's about sharing your knowledge, and then in return clients will come to you because they see you as the expert in your field.
I think that's really, really good advice. Brilliant. So tell us about your book and how people can sort of reach out to you. If there's any other services that, just tell us all about the good stuff that you're doing that people might want to know about.
Well, yeah, cut a long story short, it was in lockdown 21, obviously last year, the last lockdown we had. It was at the lowest point of my life. I'm sure a lot of people were, because it was a very long winter. We were okay. Well, I'll say we were okay in the first lockdown. We had the sunshine.
I know.
But I was up, down, up, down. I thought I was getting bipolar, because I was like, is my business going to come back? Isn't it going to come back? And then I watched The Secret on Netflix, and I don't know if you've seen that documentary of obviously the law of attraction. And I had to watch it 3 times back to back because I just sat there in awe, because it made me realize that I was in fact living my dream. Everything that I built up to that day, even though it was temporarily closed again, I was living my dream. And I just thought, you know what, I need to tell my story. I need to reach out, share what I've been through to get to where I am, building up my amazing business, to help and inspire other people. Not necessarily if you want to be a beauty therapist, but it doesn't matter what it is, or if you want to change
exactly.
your life's direction. You might be in a career that you hate. You might want to move on. It's not just for beauty therapists. So I thought, right, okay, so where do I start? Don't know where to start. So Facebook had introduced me to an author friend on Facebook back in January of 21, and I didn't think anything of it, thinking, oh, why is Facebook giving me author as a friend? You know, I haven't got any other author friends. Anyway, she was running a free 5-day challenge on how to elevate your authority and sharing your heart-led story. And something sort of made me go onto her group, and I did her free 5-day challenge. And before I knew it, at the end of the week, I'd done my first 3,000 words. So naturally, I progressed onto a writing academy because I needed to learn how to become an author, obviously how to perfect my book, and share my story. Excuse me, that touches my heart a little bit there. So so I wrote my book, and 3 months later I finished my book and got it all edited, and this was all the finished product.
Love it. I love the title. I think it's brilliant. Really good.
So that just shares my journey on what I went through, adversity to set up my business, to a rising star.
Yeah.
I rose to the occasion. It's got a lot of twists and turns and hooks in there as well, because when the first chapter comes in, it tells you what happened, you know, things like that. Yeah, it's more of a self-help book, because it talks a lot about my feelings, what I went through, my procrastination, and it's also got a lot of positive affirmational quotes in there as well.
Love it. That's all my kind of thing. I made my own like affirmation cards, because I just love all that kind of stuff.
What is your favorite affirmation, Anna?
Let me find my one on here. This is probably the one, actually. Hold on. Don't know if you can read that. I don't think it's the right way around.
I can't read it.
I recognise that I have chosen fear. I now choose love.
Oh, that's lovely. I like that.
What's your favourite one?
Wow.
You know what? I've got actually several favourites. I've got several favourites.
Oh, yeah, there's loads in here. When I had a chat with my publisher, because I had an independent publisher publish my book, and when I sent it off to her, it was make or break. Either my story was crap or it was gonna do well. And she just came back to me saying, Anita, may I just say, wow, I love your book. And I'm hoping that everybody else who reads my book loves my book as well. And this was one of my favorite quotes. So we decided to have it as a standalone quote. This is by Bear Grylls. Being brave isn't the absence of fear. Being brave is finding that fear and finding a way through it.
Love it. Yeah, I'm so into this kind of stuff. I created a journal with a friend of, well, I say a friend of mine. She's a friend of mine now, but she was a kind of met her online. You know, she's a graphic designer. And we both went through sort of challenging times. We created a journal called Unapologetically Me, and all the way through it is different quotes, and it's more around female empowering quotes all the way through it. I just love all that kind of stuff, because I think there's certain quotes on my journey that really kept me kind of rising, you know, even to the point where 80s and 90s Whitney Houston songs kept me like going. It sounds so cheesy and ridiculous, but you know, sometimes if I was having a bad day, I'd blare the tunes on and just keep on focusing to where I wanted to get to. And I think all of that stuff really, really does work. And it's just good to have it. And it's great to have you on this show, because as I say, it's all about sharing stories, this podcast. I always focus on these 3 pillars. You might be able to relate to them, because it's the Freedom Podcast. I talk about freedom in love, which is all around self-care and self-love. Freedom in money, because I don't care what anyone says, if you're absolutely broke and you're struggling for money, it's hell. you know. And when I talk about financial freedom means different. It doesn't necessarily mean like, you know, you're a 7-figure person, but you haven't got any money worries, you know. Whatever that is for you, because it's an individual thing. And then freedom in mindset as well, because I think the word mindset doesn't even do it justice, you know. I think it's not about being positive all the time either. It's just being able to get through different hurdles that come across our way, because even though, I'm sure you can relate to this, even though you've had challenges and you're on the high, we don't know what's around the corner, and it's just being able to deal with those when they are thrown at us, you know. So those are kind of like my 3 pillars that have helped me get equilibrium in my life. And it's just great I just love the fact that I'm meeting so many different people through this podcast that have got such inspirational stories. So it's just been great to have you on, because I'm sure everyone that's listening will put the link to purchase your book in the show notes. So if you are listening on iTunes, you'll be able to get it from the show notes. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello, you'll be able to see the details in the comments. But I just think, you know, there's so many different women I've met, and especially men as well. It's not leaving the guys out, but that have had, you know,
I've got lots of men following me at the moment, which is good, and some reaching out to me with my story, which is amazing.
It is, isn't it? I love it. So is there anything else? Because I always ask this one question at the end of the interview, and I'm coming up to it now. Is there anything else before we get onto the question that you wanted to mention that we've not touched on yet?
Yeah, I think obviously there's a couple of things. Is that I have a daily mantra that I talk to myself. I do daily gratitude, and if I get off of the road, then I make sure I get myself back onto it again. So I always wake up in the morning with 3 things that I'm grateful for. So my positive affirmations. So it could be whatever's personal to you, what you're grateful for when you wake up, and then reflecting back in later on in the day. What made you smile that day, what empowered you, and then obviously going to bed, saying your affirmations and really feeling it. Your subconscious will go to work on it overnight so that you wake up feeling great the next day as well. But freedom to me is definitely being in control of your life and your income. So you choose what you want to do every day, so you haven't actually got someone else dictating to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Yeah. And I think you're right. It's what I love about that question is that everybody has, and there's no right or wrong. Everyone has a different take on what freedom is. And that when we've had the birthday episodes, we've recorded the different answers back to back. It's really interesting listening because it is a personal kind of answer to what freedom means to you. And so it's just great to, as I say, it's just been great to have you on. It's such an inspiring story to hear. I love the celebrity mentions as well, and I think if anything you've shown massive resilience, and also just that focus of just keep on going, isn't it? Because I think even just setting up a business, it has its ups and downs. You know, sometimes think we see social media or YouTube and we see all these like marketeers talking about, you know, 7 figures in 30 days and all these kind of unrealistic goals. Really,
not to put anybody off. It really is. It really is. Yeah.
But it's just I think every journey, every business, every life has its ups and downs. But it's definitely, and most entrepreneurs that I've interviewed will always say that it's always been worth it. Even with the lows and the highs, probably the freedom aspect of it all, but just not giving up and focusing and visualizing on those goals. And affirmations, like myself, has kept me going on times of, you know, lows, or if there's been a few challenges or knockbacks or things aren't quite going right, things all sort of work out in the end. And
yeah, they do. They always work out in the end. Somehow they do. So long as you look to the positive rather than the negative side of it.
Exactly.
Whatever you say, it's going to come back to you, and your mind is going to, as I said before, it's going to be your reality, and you create your own reality. But again, I must stress the importance, if it's okay believing you can do something, because, you know, it's like, yeah, I can really do this, but you have to put in the work to achieve it. You have to leap out of your comfort zone. to get to where you want to be. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, yes, I have got to where I want to be in myself, but I'm now moving on to the next step, because
Exactly.
close my beloved business. So that was another wake-up call. I would have no income coming in except for online selling. So that's when I started writing.
Yeah.
I've written some articles for business magazines. I've been featured in major publications, Platinum Magazine, Motivate Magazine. I've been on Tray Radio in Spain, talking to 500,000 listeners.
Brilliant.
Reached out to me. And I've got another American show, obviously booked next week, that I'm going to be speaking on the Radio American Network. I've done Self-Improvement for Women with Hope Long, which is on Amazon TV, Apple TV. I've done all sorts of different things, and I could have said to myself, oh, no, I can't do that.
Exactly.
Why not? Just go for it. Just do it. You just don't know where it's going to lead you, what it's going to. And now I've realised my passion, which the universe had taught me sort of way back many years ago, that my career path actually is being an author. I love being a beauty therapist, but now I'm moving on to the next stage. I've still got my business, which is really strong, but I now need to look to the future for when I can no longer massage, when my legs go, my neck goes,
my friend's gone through that with her hands, like getting arthritis in her hands.
So I'm currently writing my second book.
Brilliant.
Which I'm halfway through, which is a fiction. So I'm going into fiction writing. And we've also collaborated with 15 other authors. So we've got a beautiful book called Beautifully Broken, which is coming out in October. It's being published in October, in line for World Mental Health Week.
Brilliant.
Everyone talks about their adversities and how they managed to push through to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I love it. Lots of synergy with everything that you're talking about with this stuff that I've been working on. And I think, as women, we can empower each other. And because I'm working on a co-author book at the moment as well. So I think it's just great, isn't it, to get our stories out, sort of empower the world, really. And the more of us that do it, the more we can help other people. Because it kind of even if it's just one person listening, I've had, initially when I launched this podcast, there was, a lot of my contacts online or friends and family, giving me great feedback. It's brilliant now. And I encourage anyone that's listening to reach out, because I absolutely love it. In fact, sometimes it does make me a bit teary. I've had, people, complete strangers, reach out and thank me for putting the podcast together, just because there's only so much I can do. But by bringing other people in to share their stories, it's just, we can just inspire the world with our individual journeys, because no journey is the same. And I just commend you for all the good stuff that you're doing.
I feel like I'm looking in a mirror, because what your story is just like the same as mine. You just don't know who you can help with your story,
exactly,
wherever they are on this side of the planet or the far side of the planet. It's awesome, really awesome.
Yeah. So Anita, it's been great to have you on the show. Let's keep in touch. I'm sure there's some synergy or synchronicity stuff that we could do together and help each other share our good work together. So just keep in touch. And for everyone that's listening, go and check out Anita's book, connect with her online and have a look at all the other good stuff that she's doing. Because I know I was reading her Facebook page, and some awesome stuff on there. And get into your kind of daily affirmations and your 3 gratitudes a day, because again, that was something that I spoke about for years, and then it wasn't until I was really low that I thought, Anna, do what you preach. And I started writing, even though I kind of was doing bits and bobs before, but I really started to learn what real gratitude was about. So I could really encourage everybody to be grateful for the things that we do have, because society sometimes makes us focus so much on what everybody else is doing, that we forget those small things in life that we should be really completely grateful for. So it's been great to have you on.
Thanks so much, Anne. It's been lovely chatting with you today.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, thanks ever so much, Anita, and I will speak to you soon.
Yeah, take care. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey. Hey, thank you for listening. Hope you had a blast. Here to elevate your life. It's the Freedom Podcast. Love, money, mind. Love, money, mind. Wanna see you all win. Wanna see you all shine. Just make sure that you subscribe. Bringing good vibes. Join the Facebook group. Now it's time to change your life. Hope you come back. Right now is the chance. This is an experience. It's the Freedom Podcast. Hey.